like this outfit, but I don't have any of the pieces. But what I like about it is the all black vibe and how she styled the tall boots with a skirt. So what I do have in my closet is a leather jacket, a white tee, a black skirt, and some boots. These items aren't exactly what she's wearing, but the style is pretty similar. This way you can wear your new style without necessarily buying all the pieces. Another way I modify this outfit is with a gray blazer set that I already owned. I have a crop blazer that is similar to the one in the picture, so I just threw that on with the matching skirt, and even though it's different colors, it definitely like gives me the same vibe, and I really like it.
I don't like that one.
Another tip I have is to turn styling outfits into a game. If you get bored of your wardrobe, what I like to do is set themes or challenges for myself. For example, you can try to dress more preppy one day, or dress like a character from a TV show. By giving yourself a prompt for the day, it will force you to be more creative, and you can have some guidelines rather than being overwhelmed with endless options. For example, one day my friends and I decided to have a preppy shoot, so we all dressed in preppy outfits. This is the outfit I came up with, and it's not what I usually would wear, but I actually really loved it. It was really fun pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and just playing dress up. The last tip I have in this section is to pay attention to other factors besides clothes, like makeup, hair, jewelry, and even scent. I feel like these things may seem really small, but they actually play a big part in changing your style. By revamping these small things, it can make you feel like a new person. Like if you're going for a girly aesthetic, try a sweeter scent. When I get a new perfume, I honestly just feel like rebirthed. Another example is establishing your daily jewelry. I started constantly wearing necklaces because a simple gold chain just makes me feel put together, and I only ever wear my two necklaces, a gold chain and my Vivienne Westwood necklace. This has become like my signature stack, and since it's always on me, it has definitely become part of my style identity and just upgrades my overall look. Basically, my point is that there's a lot of different little things you can do to improve your style with things you already have. So I thought I could end this video off with a little chat with what we would like to call confidence. I know we talk about confidence so much these days, but I truly think it's the most important thing, even more than buying a clothing rack, to finding your own style. Because if you don't have confidence, you're never going to be able to find your own style, because you're never going to feel good in what you're wearing and never going to feel true to yourself. So I have made so many videos already on how to find your confidence and why confidence is so important, so I'm not going to ramble your ear off this time, but I kind of just want to talk about the mental barrier into finding your own style and fitting in. Because when you're experimenting with like different aesthetics and things, it can really hurt when people say like, oh, who are you trying to impress, or like, why are you so dressed up today? And it's like, bitch, I just wanted to dress up today, okay? Don't question me. And I know getting those like questions can feel at times like even like awkward, or just like you just feel like ashamed, like, oh, like I shouldn't be like trying this hard or whatever. But honestly, the only thing I can say is screw the haters. You're gonna do what you want, you're gonna look amazing doing it, and I think you just have to internalize that you are doing this for yourself, and that is the most important thing. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. So I don't know, I thought I would like just share a little tidbit today while I end this video. This video is definitely like a new format that I'm experimenting with, so please let me know if you guys enjoy it. Any comments, suggestions that you guys have in the comments below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, but I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. I'm
gonna put you on a I'm gonna just give you a like. We're gonna go back. Okay. How to train. Welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. It's good to be in here. Good to see y'all. Good to be with y'all. Now, I'm not gonna delay. I'm gonna go straight into our motivation for the day. We only got an hour, so let's go ahead and get it popping. Alright, get out of this game. We need one that's short enough too. We never go to Dr. Joe, but he ain't up here today. Alright, 9 minutes is good. Let's work, y'all.
That client review was brutal.
We're gonna be underwater for a week.
Necessity, in my opinion, is not the mother of invention. Refusing to accept things the way that they are is the mother of invention. Some of you will never be, you'll never have, you'll never do, because you sitting around waiting on a phone call, because you sitting around waiting for somebody to give you an opportunity.
Too many people get into a dwelling mindset, a woe is me, I missed it. To me, start now, move fast, don't settle is 6, 16, 26, 36, 46, 56, 76. This is about loving yourself and not beating yourself up for what you've done wrong in the past. Let's go.
This life that you have been given, this life that you are temporarily holding on to, this life that has been just given to you for only temporary reasons, has more meaning than you can ever imagine. Your life is your life, and you have the right to live it the best way you can.
Door can't open today, look out. I'm gonna come back and take the hinges off. You've got to have that kind of
Yes,
courage,
sir.
that type of determination.
Yes, sir.
If you want to make it happen, it's you. That you've got to take personal responsibility to make it happen. Listen to me, you want to be a rap artist, right? You want to go to the NFL, you want to go to the NBA, right? You want to go to the Olympics, right? You want to be the next Michael Jackson. You want to be the next, I don't know who you want to be, what you want to do. You don't want to live in the community you live in. You want to be in a gated community, all right? You don't want to drive what you're driving right now. You want to drive something big. That's okay. It's okay to dream big. It's okay to think big, but you got to start small. You got to give small a chance to be big, baby.
You can't just talk about wanting to win. You have to prepare to win, and you have to expect to win.
If it's a new meal plan, start today. If it's a new mentality, start today. If it's a fresh conversation, if it's a powerful life-giving strategy, whatever it is that's going to take you forward, start now. Start now. Don't push this thing off to tomorrow, because lives are on the line. When people wait to fulfill, when people wait to manifest, when people wait and they push it off, it can cost the lives of so many people, the overall quality of life that many people walk in, because you are a life-giving agent of change in the arena of life. It is time for you to show up the best version of yourself. Lives are on the line. At the end of your life, you need to be able to look up to heaven and have won some small victory for humanity, because you becoming everything you've been destined to become is going to impact somebody's life. And so when we don't do this, when we push it off, when we procrastinate, somebody's life is being negatively impacted, and that first life is yours. So what I want you to do is think about something you want for you, that's real for you, that's important for you, that will give your life some special meaning and power.
Don't wait for something to happen. You make it happen. You make it happen for a reason. And take full responsibility and control of this thing we call life.
Yes, sir. Oh, it ain't the end, yeah. It ain't the
Think of 22 to 42 as being like the soldier of society. In fact, if we go to war, you're the ones going to war, 22 to 42. In business, you're the soldier. You're learning, you're growing, you're grunting it out, you're hustling, right? If you work hard during that time, and you've done well during spring, you come to the fall, which is, you look at 43 to 63, that's your power period, right? That's the period where you had explosive growth in your business, as an example. That's when you became who you are, where your name became known. That's where all of a sudden you can do probably more today with your pinky than when you work 20 hours a day. And now if you work 20 hours a day, produce generational impact much greater than that. But the ultimate time, and I say to you this as a brother who's heading in that direction, because I never would have believed it, is really when you get to 63 to 83 or 63 to 103 or 63 to 120, which is the oldest humans. The final season, the winter season. But that's the season in which you really are the elder of society. Right. And if you've done your job up front, you've reaped so much.
Right.
All you want to do is give back. And
exactly.
You don't worry about what people think about you. I'm here to help the people that are interested. I'm not here to say I'm the right thing for everybody. And you own yourself at a different level. And you really can move your pinky and make things happen.
You have to be confident in you. You have to believe that you have what it takes. You have to declutter your mind.
Give small a chance to be big. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You got to give small a chance to grow up. You're trying to blow up. You're trying to do everything big. And I told you, think big, dream big, but start small. That's right, start small. Remember what I told you. Start where you are with what you have, because what you have is plenty.
You must discipline yourself and take full control and responsibility for the outcome or whatever it is that you are seeking at this moment.
And I just want to encourage you to start now, little by little. Make the decisions that are required to fulfill your destiny. I know you're tired. I know you're broken. I know you're weary. I know you're sleepy. I know you've gotten numb. I know it seems as though there is no hope. And you can get into this place of hopelessness and weariness and isolation. But right where you are, and some of you can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel, but right where you are, you gotta start now.
Great.
They put a
The new
commercial right in the
GoDaddy
middle
Arrow
of
has AI marketing
motivation,
tool.
so we're gonna move on. All right. So Tech Tuesdays, we here again, but it's not necessarily gonna be just tech flashing on the screen and look cool. All right, we're building up some resilience. And what I mean by resilience in the reference of tech or technology, let me get my scene changed. In the reference of technology is how much do you need it? How much don't you need it? How much are you using it and you don't need it? How much are you not using it and you should be using it? For example, if you want to cook, you're not going outside and building a fire every day. You're going to use your stove. That's something that you should be taking advantage of. But how resilient are you to, if you didn't have a stove, to still be able to build that fire or still be able to cook that food? So let's look into this. All right. And shift back to the main. Let's rock. Being resilient. Let's see.
Ancestors' instinct to survive to modern-day stresses and strains. Our resilience has helped us to bounce back when things haven't gone to plan. But what does resilience look like? People who are more resilient are likely to be better at solving problems, ask for help when they need it, and have a can-do attitude. People who are less resilient are likely to struggle under pressure, experience symptoms of anxiety and depression, and often feel deflated and hopeless when things go wrong. So what can you do to boost your resilience? 1. Break the problem down. It'll be much easier to manage in smaller pieces. 2. Focus on the positives. It'll help you feel more optimistic about finding a solution. 3. Build and use your support network. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, it's good to have someone in your corner. 4. Look after yourself. It'll help you refocus, making you feel more confident and in control. 5. Know your limits. If we take on too much, we can feel overwhelmed and unable to cope. Resilience is a skill that you can develop, and it takes practice. Over time, you'll become better and better at resolving problems when they arise. Try these 5 tips to boost your bounce back ability.
There y'all go. Now you know. Let's see about in the wild though. Let's see the past 7 months. Now let's go.
Hey, Dad.
Hey.
So,
In life, everyone encounters hardships. Some will be big, and others will be small. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, getting laid off, heartbreak, divorce, or even just putting orange juice in this morning's cereal instead of milk, there will be tough times. When these difficult times inevitably arrive, we can either choose to let them swallow us up, or we can choose to keep going and make the best of the cards life has dealt us. Yes, even when there's orange juice in your cereal.
Right.
This is where a very important skill comes in. Resilience. Resilience is the ability to pick yourself back up and move forward after tragedy or challenges. It's grit, it's determination, it's deciding not to quit, and that even if the worst happens, you'll be okay. But this important skill is not an innate ability. Children are not born resilient,
Wow.
as you could probably tell by their fragility and inability to form a sentence, nor do they naturally become proficient at it as they age. Resilience has to be built and developed over time, which means us adults have to figure out how to get resilient on our own.
Right.
Luckily, resilience can be developed through mindset shifts, practice, and through healthy habits everyone has the ability to implement. Here are just 10 ways to start building your resilience so you can weather through the hard times life throws your way, orange juice and all. 1. Be proactive. Resilient people are proactive. This means they face their problems head on. They don't let problems fester in the corner, growing larger and larger by the day, until it becomes an uncontrollable infestation. Instead, resilient people take immediate action. The next time you encounter a problem in your life, even a small one, force yourself to be proactive in fixing the problem. Rather than spiraling into a storm of negative thoughts about the situation, focus on taking action. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to minimize the damage or fix the issue? 2. Protect your downtime. Resilient people are well rested. They have the energy necessary to confront their problems. It's very difficult to be proactive about difficult situations when you've been running yourself ragged, fueled by 3 shots of espresso, and sporting a pair of bags under your eyes. So practice resilience by simply setting aside time every day for yourself. You can use the time for self-reflection, meditation, or just for some needed TLC. But by protecting your downtime, you'll have the strength and mental preparedness to focus when issues and challenges cross your path. 3. Change your mindset about adversity. One of the biggest fixes you can make in order to build resilience is to stop thinking about adversity as a problem and think about it as a chance for growth. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This reframing question is powerful because it distracts you from the pain or frustration of the situation and makes you start looking for an answer to an interesting question. Focusing on how you can grow stronger from a situation is a much more productive use of your brain cells than wallowing in self-pity. 4. Build relationships. Resilient people know they can't do everything by themselves. That's where close friends and family come in. Develop strong, healthy relationships with people you trust, so you have someone to turn to when you need a shoulder to cry on, or a cheerleader to celebrate your successes. So take time out of your day to put yourself out there and work on your relationships. You'll be grateful you did when you encounter challenges down the road. 5. Focus on the present. An easy trick to develop resilience is simply to practice focusing on the present. Whenever you find yourself bogged down by past mistakes or worried about the future, catch yourself and then refocus on the present. Mistakes, both past and future, are not in our control, and thinking about them too much only causes additional stress. Plus, if you think too much about the past or future, that's energy and time you could be using towards your present, the thing you can control. So build your resilience up by developing your awareness of your thoughts and feelings and turning them towards the present moment, rather than towards things you can't change. 6. Know that life isn't fair. Growing up, your parents or teachers might have told you that life isn't fair when you really wanted something you couldn't get. As a kid, it might have been pretty upsetting. But as we get older, the idea that life isn't fair can actually be comforting. Life isn't fair, not for anyone. Every human being on this planet experiences hardship. Some more than others, but there are still problems in everyone's life. You are not alone in pain. Resilient people realize this about life, and they don't dwell on wrapping their heads around the fact that something bad has happened. Instead, they know that bad things happen, and they accept them when they come. They know life isn't fair, and they don't spend time worrying about it. There's nothing they can do. So it's more important to focus on things within their control. 7. Stay flexible. Resilience may bring to mind images of strong, immovable objects, like giant boulders, or a weed growing in a sidewalk crack. You may be imagining any number of things that don't change, despite what goes on around them. However, this could not be further from the truth. Resilience actually involves a lot of flexibility and creativity. Challenges in your life may cause you to have to pivot, to change direction. This doesn't mean you have to give up on goals or dreams. It just means you may have to reach your goals in a way you hadn't anticipated before. Stay creative with your options in life, and you'll be able to navigate through any difficulty. 8. Focus on what you can change. As we've touched on a bit so far, one of the best things you can do to build resilience is to focus only on what you can change. People who constantly blame their environment for their circumstances, whether or not they are right or wrong, definitely never see their circumstances change. However, resilient people who decide that they are the force which can change their own life do see changes in their circumstances. A defeated attitude doesn't help overcome challenges. Only those who rise to the challenge see change and growth. So get rid of that defeatist mindset and accept that you are the one with the power. 9. Be grateful. Negativity is the greatest killer of resilience. Practice gratitude in your daily life as much as possible. We all know it's far too easy to focus on negative things in life. Our brains are hardwired to do so and keep us out of danger. But if you know you're not in any immediate danger, try shifting your attention to the good things about a situation. This, just like anything, becomes easier with practice. So try writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day. You'll be surprised at how many things you come up with. And you may end up more content with your life as you see your growing list of reasons to be happy.
Everything at Roger starts and ends on Slack. I love huddles because the communication pipeline is so much faster. The answer I need takes 2 minutes. I could just ask a quick question and get a quick answer versus scheduling a phone call where someone has a free hour. I just press the...
10. Practice resilience in the wild. One way to develop resilience is to seek out challenges in your life on purpose. For example, try starting a 30-day challenge, or apply to jobs until you have 50 rejection letters, or even try taking cold showers every day. Heck, you might even end up enjoying it. Putting yourself out there again and again will teach you to not be so afraid of failure, and will show you that no matter what, you can make it through a lot of things unharmed. Resilience may be one of the most important skills we can learn in our lives. To be able to overcome adversity and frustration and hurt and heartbreak is an invaluable skill, because all these challenges will inevitably come our way eventually. So, if we can be ready for them, if we can be resilient, in whatever small way possible, then we can spend less time affected by things we lose or lose out on, and more time experiencing the joy of the amazing things in our life that we do have. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. If you're interested in finding out about other evidence-based techniques related to resilience, productivity, and self-care in general, you might want to check out some of the classes over on Skillshare. One that's benefited me personally has been Productivity Habits That Stick by Mike Vardy.
Give me 1 second, y'all. Now, I'll just pick one for y'all real quick. I don't know if this got no talking. Okay. It's the same one.
Camels possess a hidden weakness, an Achilles heel. Now, they have a legendary resilience. They can go for weeks without water, carrying heavy loads over burning desert while their human companions are dying of thirst. They'll walk and walk and walk for leagues, and then one day they just collapse without any warning. And human beings possess a similar Achilles heel. We can rally. We can rally in the face of pandemics and war and economic crisis, personal loss. We rally and we rally. And then one day our soul says, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And you do not want to push your soul to that point. But everything about the hour that we're living in is pushing our souls to that very point. Welcome. I'm John, and I am delighted to spend this series with you. I have so much to say, so much that we need to know about this hour that we're living in and the counsel of Christ for us. So much so that I wrote a book called Resilient, Restoring Your Weary Soul in These Turbulent Times. And this series is born out of that. And what we want to explore is the resilience that God imparts to the human soul. Now, yes, in many ways, the world has always been a turbulent place, right? I mean, you read history and it's war and famine and heartache and loss, and yes, beauty and goodness and love too, but the world is a stormy place. But there is something about this hour that I want to explain to you. First, modern life, for the last 30 years, has been really draining on the human soul. I mean, what we consider to be a normal pace of life, the amount of media that we take in, the amount of time we spend on our technology, simply being exposed to all of the global news and the heartache of the world, that is draining. And then something like a pandemic rolls through, and global strife, and war, and economic hardship. And what it is, we have to tap deep into our reserves to rally. And we have rallied. Way to go, everybody. We have rallied. But in order to rally, you spend your reserves. And at some point, you have got to replenish those reserves. Okay, we've got to build a new resilience for our recovery and our joy, and also to prepare ourselves for the coming days. Jesus knew that we would be living through times like this. And with compassion, he gave us counsel, he gave us wisdom for this, very, very specifically. And he also had some pretty sober words of warning. I want to go to two of those with you in this first session. I want to start in Luke 21 and then go to Matthew 25. In Luke 21, Jesus gives an illustration. And this is after he's been kind of riffing on the trials of an hour like this one. He says, notice the fig tree or any other tree. When its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. In the same way, when you see all these things taking place, and he's been talking about the signs of the end of the age, He says, you know that the kingdom of God is near. And he says, watch out. Don't let your hearts be weighed down. And I'm like, whoa, what? There's a way for my heart not to be weighed down? Say more. He says, don't let your hearts be weighed down by carousing and drunkenness and by the worries of this life. He says, keep alert at all times. And then he offers this. He says, ask me, pray for the strength to escape the madness of this time. Pray for the strength. Ask God for the strength. The word for strength in the Greek is kataskuo. It's only used twice in the New Testament, and it is phenomenal. Kataskuo means to prevail against, to overcome, to win. It is a victorious strength. The other time it's used, it's Jesus. It's in Matthew. And he's talking about the launch of the church into the world, right? The coming of the kingdom of God through his people in the world. And he says, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it, will not overcome my people, okay? The body of Christ, will not kataskuo. So it's an overcoming strength. It's a victorious strength. It's frankly a combative strength because Jesus understands it is the forces of hell that are trying to overcome the human heart. And he wants to imbue us with a supernatural resilience to handle these times.
Right.
Okay, so this is one of the first things I want to say as we enter into our search for that strength. This isn't gutting it out. This isn't sucking it up or doubling down. This isn't like military training or those outdoor leadership courses, which are good and have their place. This kind of strength is given to us. That's why the psalmist says, God is the strength of my heart. That's why Paul says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's what we're after. We're after this supernatural resilience that is imparted to our humanity by the living God. And then in Matthew 25, he tells a very important parable that I think is particularly critical for this moment in time. And first, notice where it comes. So Matthew 24 is the famous Olivet Discourse. This is where Jesus is riffing on the trials of the end of the age, the wars, the rumors of wars, the famines, plagues, the hatred that comes into the world towards the end, the loss of heart. Okay, so he goes through all that, and then he tells this story. He says, then the kingdom of God will be like 10 bridesmaids. Then, meaning at this time, okay? 10 bridesmaids who took their lamp and went to meet the bridegroom, okay? 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish didn't take enough oil, but the other 5 were wise enough to bring along extra oil. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. You know what? I appreciate his honesty about the bridegroom taking his time, okay? At midnight, they were all roused by the shout, look, the bridegroom is coming, come out, meet him. And so all the bridesmaids get up, prepare their lamps, and then the 5 foolish ones say, oh, please give us some of your oil because our lamps are going out. But the others replied, we don't have enough for all of us. Go to a shop, buy some for yourself. But while they were gone to buy the oil, the bridegroom came, and they all went into the feast, and the door was shut. And you're like, holy cow, that is a really unnerving story. People are left out of the kingdom of God. They're left out of the feast because, what? They ran out of olive oil? So throughout the Old and New Testament, oil is the presence of God. Okay, this isn't about your pantry. Okay, oil represents the presence of the living God. And so they would anoint the priest with oil in the Old Testament or a new king. Jesus is the anointed one. That's what Messiah means, because they are anointed with the Spirit of the living God. And the parable of the 10 bridesmaids is a story about people who either caretake their reserves of the strength and resilience of God in their life, and people who don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is our hour. I think we are in the hour of the 10 bridesmaids. I think he gave us that parable at this time. He says after, all these things are happening, the war and the famine and all that, as this story is racing towards its climax, here are these two groups of people. And some are being very intentional. They're planning for resilience. They're planning for the caretaking of their life in God. And then there's a group who are just taking everything way too casually. They're kind of winging it, and they run out. And we are seeing people run out. I'm getting emails, texts all the time of wonderful people, solid, mature lovers and followers of God who are tapping out. They're throwing in the towel. They're just beat up from this age that we're living in. They're wrung out. They're disappointed or heartbroken, and they're just saying, I'm done. That's that camel thing. That's that human resilience thing. You do not want to push your soul to the point where you just run out. You run out of God. You run out of strength. You run out of the resilience to even care to carry on. And so this is where we are, I believe, in the world. This is what we are going to chase in this series, is the wonderful, marvelous oil of God, the presence of God, the inner strength that God provides to any human being, every human being, who will ask him for it. And the first step is that we turn our hearts back towards the living God. We begin to love him with our hearts. And the reason that that's important is in 2 Chronicles, it says, the eyes of the Lord rove to and fro across the earth, looking for those whose hearts are fully given to him so that he might strengthen them. I love that. I need that. Right. And you see the orientation is the heart. The orientation is our affection, our attention, our gaze, right? We want to be the 5 who are making plans to caretake the presence of God in our life by loving him, by giving him our attention, and by asking him for the kataskuo, for the resilience and the strength that we need for the madness of this time. So here's what I want to do. In each session, I want to...
Well, that's it for this session. But, all right. Hold on. Let's see. Now we're going to get to the juicy part of our conversation today. Being resilient with your tech. What does that look like?
This is a fizzy tablet and some water. If I put it inside, it starts fizzing. And if I put a cap on top of it and flip it, eventually the pressure will build up and it might just pop off. Whoa! That was awesome. But even more awesome is if I do 30 at the same time. Here we go. Flip, 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 flip. They might go off. Whoa! 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 That's a lot stronger than I planned. My name is Dr. Jeff, and I make videos that help kids learn science in school.
The tech industry is an exciting place. We make it possible to access tools from anywhere, improve the way teams collaborate, and refine the developer experience. But as a person at the forefront of this excitement, we will encounter challenges. We might not think of ourselves as writers, and we will have to learn how to write clear documentation. We may not have worked much with a diverse team, and we will have to learn how to communicate and collaborate effectively with others. And of course, we will face bugs and frustration. And in these moments, you can pause and ask yourself, how can I build my tech resilience? We each approach challenges differently, and we may find some easier to overcome than others. But what all of us can do is tap into and build our resilience, our capacity to recover quickly from setbacks and difficulties. And decades of research on building resilience supports this. And we actually practice resilience every day. We tune into ourselves to identify what might be holding us back. We use different perspectives when approaching a situation. We try out multiple solutions and see how well they work. We reach out to others for guidance and feedback and work collaboratively to move forward. And this series of videos that follow will provide you with strategies and concepts to continue building your resilience. The videos will encourage you to pause and notice where you are in your journey, remind you of how far you have come and what you can try when you encounter your next challenge.
Good job.
Resilience is not a trait that only certain people possess.
We know. We learned that part. Hold on, y'all. There we go. Let's see.
Hi there, I'm John Maida. I presented the Resilience Tech Report here at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. I think it went well. I was able to get through all the material in 1 hour. 1 hour is a long time, so this is my quick summary for you. The PDF's available for you to spend more time on, and thanks for tuning in. This year's report is about resilience in the face of adversity.
Let me see.
It's a topic that I've looked at for the last year, and it's really changed me, and I hope what I've gathered here can help to enable your world of change to feel a little better. Perhaps you'll be more resilient in the process. First off, what is design? Design is function and form. It is the mating of these two factors. And what does it have to do with resilience? Well, design has changed a lot because of the fourth industrial revolution. A lot has changed. The little chip on the left, 128 megabytes, is now 128 gigabytes, 2005 to 2014. That happened because of Moore's Law. Moore's Law has changed design. There are three kinds of design: classical design, design thinking, computational design. I wrote a book on it because people asked me what it was. I described it as the change that's happening to organizations, businesses in particular, and governments, and digital. It's requiring us to bounce back from change that's constantly pummeling us. The word resilience has changed a lot itself. It means to bounce back and transform. To be something that is actually valuable means resilience, and back and forth. COVID-19 made us more resilient. It gave us an adversity that forced us to become resilient. So when you think about design, function, form, resilience is a response to fear, flight, or fight, mainly fight, the new definition of resilience. Change is something that we all don't like, but design is especially good at enabling people to go through change. Designers are able to enable you to experience what is familiar and novel at the same time. It's quite a superpower. It's also called crossing the chasm in marketing. Because change is a human thing that we experience, we can either take it on and end up in crisis, in depression, or we can accept it, or we can actually overcome it, become yes we can. But in reality, this positivist view of the world is not easy. It's a fraction of our emotions. And so we tend to have to work through it. Change is working through things. This is the Swedish, famous in Europe, it turns out, the change house. The right is the 4 doors model, a model that I found in the Australia world of TED. Pick your model of change, but know that you cannot change this. You can't change the fact that the Earth goes around the sun, which is quite comforting because that determines so much in the world, the seasons. You can't change the fact that the moon rotates around the Earth. It affects our tidal patterns. We humans can't change that. And lastly, the Earth has a molten core, super hot, creating these zits, volcanoes, earthquakes. Can't change this. It is a high-speed spaceship. So you can't change that, so can't worry about it. In that sense, it helps you adapt. It helps you assume that you have to learn, and knowing you can't control everything is a good thing. Mattering is a terrific word because it's the flip side of mortality. This is a piece I made called Life Countdown. It's on the internet. Check it out. It's a bit dark, but it's a piece that reminded me that I only have so many springs left, so I should cherish them.
Wow.
Because my life matters to me. What is risk? Dr. David Hilson, terrific YouTube videos, by the way, talks about how risk is any uncertainty that matters.
Right.
That matters can be your life. That matters can be your good fortunes. But life is what is the thing we care about, our mortality. And we can experience it through COVID-19. We can experience it through losing people. It's a sad thing. Those natural hazards are different than human-made hazards. Human-made hazards are things like war, conflict, and the UCDP map gives you an overview of conflict-related deaths. It's quite dark, but it's also educating, at least for myself, about the nature of how we humans tend to hurt other humans.
No, I didn't think about it
Good
that
news. We're more likely to die from natural causes. Cardiovascular can impact you the most. Your mortality at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Mattering is at the top. Mattering is your psychological health.
Mm-hmm.
This list is from the LSE. It's a list of things that people regret when they're dying. So pick one of those and die less regretful. This is the Martin Seligman Positive Psychology Model, ABCD. You can look it up. It's a great way to sort of take on change and somehow bounce back. Section 4, the business of resilience. Companies have a lifespan that is shrinking. And being risk-averse is more important than being risk-averse. Supply chains are brittle because they've been made hyper-efficient, like no inventory, meaning no warehouse, cheap supplier, cheap shipping. To be resilient, it means you cost more, have redundancy. Something you would think is costly is now essential. So instead of efficiency, think resilience. Think of the cost that becomes an investment in your becoming more resilient. I think the reason why it's hard for businesses to become resilient is it's complex. This is the model I drew. As you can see, it's like, whoa, it gets very complex. There's temporality, there's detectability, and let's focus on detectability. Detectability means data, a superpower.
Yeah, knowing is a superpower.
Work by the Henderson Institute talks about all-weather companies. It's a good idea. All-weather companies can handle the snow, handle the rain. The automotive industry talks about this in terms of technologies that are able to be more about active safety. Tesla has a notion of active safety that impacts before, during, after. Active safety is possible with data. There are tons of sources of data today that cover the entire world. There's so much you can know today. And because we have so much of that data, we can increase detectability of things that are beyond cars, that can be company-wide. And that's a space that I'm in, critical event management, CEM. So companies have found ways to become resilient through protecting and adapting, but they're also evolving to be able to prosper when bad things happen. All-weather companies want to grow, prosper, defeat the competition. Section 5, adversities are trending.
Gotta be defeating the competition.
Well, what is an adversity? What is a crisis? It's a boom of some form. The boom has a length T and a decay constant tau. There's left of boom and right of boom. Because we have data, we can do more left of boom. There are 6 kinds of natural hazards: biological, climatological, geophysical, hydrological, meteorological, and extraterrestrial. The majority of natural hazards are impacted by climate change. That's why we feel it so deeply today. There are human-made hazards, ones that are intentional and non-intentional. Again, most human-made hazards can be tied to the fact that the climate is making things worse for us on Earth. There are also hazards that you cannot see. These are digital ones from digital transformation. Cyberspace has encroaching. That's why How to Speak Machine is there, because it helps you understand what the heck is this stuff. So, closing up. Offense is good. Go to fight. Resilience tech exists. Just remember that being resilient in the workplace isn't something you have to do. Bring your whole self to work. If it hurts, don't take it. That speak to the value of inclusion. Inclusion is a good idea. An inclusive business strategy means your employees are fully leveraged and your total addressable market, your TAM, can grow. A simple acronym to remember about how to be resilient is DINE, like dining out. First, diversify your views. Secondly, isolate signal from noise. Network and incentivize partnerships. And lastly, exercise. Practice matters.
Hold on, I gotta hear that again.
Message from TAM can grow. A simple acronym to remember about how to be resilient is DINE, like dining out. First, diversify your views. Secondly, isolate signal from noise. Network and incentivize partnerships. And lastly, exercise. Practice matters. Message from the Earth.
I gotta remember that.
We're gonna close out.
One more time.
A simple acronym to remember about how to be resilient is DINE, like dining out. First, diversify your views. Secondly, isolate signal from noise. Network and incentivize partnerships. And lastly, exercise. Practice matters. Message from
Let's see. Last 7-minute video.
What's going on, everybody? Jay with JOS Media. Today, I wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to me. This is something that is being said, but I think it should be stressed across the board with all creators, all people on social media in general, and that's being resilient on social media. One of the main things that you want to do is make sure that you are monitoring and keeping yourself in check when it comes down to being on social media. It does open you up to negative feedback, criticism, cyberbullying, but I want to give you some tips on what you can do to make sure that you are okay when it comes down to social media. Number one, I want you to be mindful of the time that you spend on social media. Now, a lot of times what happens on our phones, you have different ways to track to see how much screen time you're getting or what apps that you're using more of. Make sure you're just mindful of that. Make sure that you're really taking into account, how much time you're on here versus how much time you're doing with something else. If you notice that it's negatively skewed, pivot somewhere else, or just try your hardest to balance things out. Again, if your business is solely based on being on social, similar to my own, it's going to be skewed, but make sure that you are taking things into account and realizing that it's skewed for this reason because I am on here for marketing purposes or showing off content, etc. Number two is cultivate positive relationships. If social media is not something that your business is based around, make sure that you have positive relationships for the people that you actually want to follow and the people that you actually want to see win. And I'm saying this and I'm being completely transparent. A lot of times you may log on, you may see someone that's either your competitor or someone that you grew up with that person rubbed you the wrong way, and it's okay, we're all human, but why follow them when you can just simply just request that you don't see that and just follow positive accounts that make you feel good. It makes no sense for you to log on to your phone and feel bad that you're logging into your phone. Make sure that you cultivate that positive relationship between that platform by making sure that you curate your feed to things that you actually want to see. If you don't want to see the news constantly, click that you don't want to see things like that. And just make sure that you do want to see things like kittens jumping off a boat when it's in the water to see them swim. Number three, make sure that you're practicing empathy and kindness. This is something that goes a long way. Gary Vee, which is, my idol, I would definitely say, is he always makes sure that you stress empathy and just kindness, even if you're in a business space. In social media, it can bring out the worst in people, but by you responding in positive ways, it'll make you feel better, and also it helps you be mindful of the person on the other side. That person could be going through something traumatic at this time and just lashing out to anyone that he sees or she sees that's winning in their eyes on social, and all you have to do is respond with kindness and just politely move on. Their day could be going horrible, but maybe your kind words will actually change it. You never know. Number 4 is focus on the positive comments and focus on the positive things that are actually happening on your account. A lot of times we get wrapped up in followers and how many likes and how many comments that we did get. And if we get a negative comment, your mind, your eyes, and everything just automatically is drawn to that negative comment. Rather, by you just focusing on a positive, you don't have to be there. You don't have to go to that level. You could just remain to make sure that you are caring for yourself and you're just focusing on the things that make you happy. Number 5, and this is pretty huge, and this is even over the course of my career, something that I had to learn, was don't take things personally. Matter of fact, don't even take yourself seriously. There's so many other things that are happening in the world right now, and social media, and when you're on here, yes, it is something that you're doing for your business or whatever the case may be, whatever that your plan is on here, but don't take yourself so seriously. It's up to that algorithm to do whatever that algorithm is going to do, and you have no control over that. But you can focus on the things that didn't like your post. I mean, maybe they just didn't see your post. Right. You don't have to blacklist them in your eyes. You don't have to do any of that. I mean, maybe they just didn't see it. We also have to remember, in this microwave society, a lot of things go on so fast that we can't even catch it. To be honest, we can't. You may make a post today and then someone may see it like 5 or 6 days later. It's just the society that we live in, and everything is moving so fast. So again, don't take it personal. Just enjoying the things that you want to enjoy and not worrying about what other people are doing around you, unless those people are immediate family, clearly. The other thing for not taking things personal is just recognizing your self-worth. Know who you are. Know what you're capable of doing and what you bring to this world, or even what you're bringing to the space that you're in. Yes, there are many other accounts out there that may have larger following, but just think about what you're bringing to the table. Just think about your unique assets that only you have, and focus on that media. If you notice, every free minute that you get, you're reaching for the phone, opening that favorite app and start scrolling and consuming content, then it's a possibility that you may need to take a little break. And by taking little breaks, it could be, hey, for the rest of the day, I'm not going to log on. I'm just going to enjoy the things that I can see right in front of me, the things that I could touch, the things that I could smell, the things that I hear right here in real life, rather than focusing on what's out there digitally. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times when you take breaks from things, you are more refreshed by the time you return, especially in the creative space. If you notice that you're on there looking for inspiration constantly, but you're consuming, then at that point you're kind of breaking down, because you're no longer in a creative space. You're now focusing and shifting into a comparison space, which is a big no-no when it comes down to a digital creator or just creator in general. So take breaks, value your health, and make sure that you reevaluate your self-worth, because again, you're important, not the app. Resilience in social media is an ongoing process, but just always remember why you're there and why you're showing up every day. In my space, I'm showing up for that creator that was in the space that I'm no longer in, and I'm just there to lend a hand back to help them up. Or any business out there that is really thinking about they need to be able to show up consistently to their followers, that's why I'm there. That's the overall goal. It's not to be in a comparison state. It is literally to be in a space that I can actually add value to someone's life or to someone's business. Reevaluate your goals and reevaluate your value when you're on the social media space. Again, my name is Jay. I'm an Atlanta-based creator. I am a photographer and videographer, business owner, and I am here just to help out in anything when it comes down to the photo, the video, and the social media space. So if you like this video, make sure that you click that like button, you subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because I want to make sure that you are aware anytime we drop new videos just like this one. So until then, I want you to make sure you grab that camera and keep it clicking. Until next time, take it easy.
I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode.
All over the earth, God is raising up a new breed of wealth builders who will use their money to shape the...
All right. I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode of being resilient, about being resilient. I ain't gonna talk too much more after the fact. I will. You leave it on the charge and it still died. I will say this: tomorrow, Find Your Way Wednesdays, we back at it full time, 1 hour and we getting concentrated info. I appreciate y'all kicking it with me. This has been another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. I tried to get all that in before the mic went back off. This is DGTA TV.
Also, you're equally ridiculous. It is just that you are living in the comfort that nobody else can see it. But people can see it. They watch you closely enough, they can see it, isn't it? And whether they can see it or not, that's not the point. The point is the most
emotional struggles for a very
to the distance, yes, isn't it?
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month? Well, I didn't make this kind of…
There are no subtractions and divisions in our mind. There is only addition and multiplication. I will just remove negative thoughts and I will have positive thoughts.